Thanks for the support as a channel member, Poe. Remember that transfer window where we didn't sign anybody because we didn't have any money to spend this summer? I just broke the club's transfer record. Hello and welcome to Club 4, part 36 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a big Premier League game at home against Manchester United, and we also face AC Milan in our first Champions League group game of the year. As you can see, the season has started quietly. Colin Schultz is scoring all the goals, but we are in and around where we're supposed to be in the Premier League. Fifth place, 3 games gone. We don't worry too much about the league table just yet. Very interesting to see that Peterborough have got a striker who's already got 3 goals. In fact, he's not even a striker. Are they actually starting to put together a good team now I'm not there? Where are they predicted to finish this season? Still predicted to finish second bottom. People are asking why Watford are predicted to finish second. It's an excellent question. Why are Watford predicted to finish second? Presumably they must have had a big money takeover. Yeah, Watford had a tycoon takeover in the summer, and I guess have thrown a lot of money around. I mean, to be fair, they've spent less than we have, or roughly what we've spent, slightly less than what we've spent. I think that's probably a little ambitious to say that they would be second in the Premier League this year, but with a tycoon takeover. Why do they get the tycoon takeover? We've been rumoured to have a takeover brewing for like 2 years. When do I get my 25 years? More than 25 years I've been playing Football Manager, and I've never had a tycoon takeover at a club I've been managing. I've also never had a son come through the youth system in the game. Let me know down in the comments, do these things actually exist? Or are they just imaginary and people talk about them as if they can actually happen to you, but they never happen to you? 1,000 hours a year I spend on this game. I deserve a tycoon. Goodness me. What I was saying though, transfers. Remember, we had a plan yesterday about what we were going to do with transfers. The plan sort of came off, but ended up working a little bit differently. As you probably already noticed from the fact he's in the Media Dream 11, Sergio Delgado is now a Norwich player. He cost us £80 million with potential £20 million add-ons on top of that. Only 13 million of it was paid up front. The rest is on the good old never, never. But will eventually, if he plays 50 games and scores 50 goals, that deal will become worth £100 million in total, which is extraordinary money for Norwich. But Sergio Delgado is an extraordinary player. Star rating puts him half a star ahead of Pedro Luis. You will have seen on the Media Dream 11 that he actually makes it into the Dream 11. Pedro Luis never did, but he pushes Tamang out of the Media Dream 11, and he's actually considered the 3rd best player in the Premier League, behind those 2 midfield rascals that Manchester City have got. Delgado at 22 is a bit special. So he is in, and we've brought him in without selling Cassolari. Cassolari turned down his move to AC Milan. So we then kind of started shuffling some other things around. We freed up some wage budget by loaning out Rodrigo Garza for the season. I figured if we've got Luis, Delgado, Abraham and Cassolari, Garza's not going to get much game time, so he's got on Freiburg on loan for the season. They're paying his wages. Nelson Yedro has gone on loan to Celta for the season, and we sold Asa Walsh. We got an £8 million offer for Asa Walsh, who had already said he was leaving on a free transfer at the end of the season, and the day before deadline day came in and requested a transfer, and then Leeds came in and offered more than what his market value in the game was. I think we saw he was valued at £5.5 million. I don't know why I can't click the right buttons. They came in and just offered £8 million. It's like, well, okay, I've got to take £8 million. So Asa Walsh has gone, and we've replaced him in midfield with Lewis Shepherd, who's a 23-year-old English central midfielder on loan for the season from Manchester City. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, incredible value. And as a midfielder, he's as good as Zamorano, as good as Gilberto Carlos. He's English, obviously homegrown at club, potential to become a leading Premier League player in central midfield. We've got him on loan for the season with an optional future fee. It is a £91 million optional future fee, so we're not paying it unless he's absolutely sensational. But we have an English midfielder to replace our English midfielder, so that helps us for Champions League squad registration. That was basically the condition of letting Asa Walsh go. we had to find an English midfielder to replace him with, and we've done it for nothing. And then we just brought in a random German youngster, because you know what I'm like. I love a random German youngster. He actually came up on my scout report on deadline day with 5-star potential and the option to loan him until the end of the season with a tiny future fee. So I figured there's not really any risk there. If he comes in and he's good, we pay $3.5 million. We've got a player who's 1 year towards becoming homegrown at club because he's coming in at 18. And it seems like a no-brainer. If he's not any good, we've not really lost anything. We're not paying him any wages. We'll just send him back to Leipzig at Christmas and no loss there. I suspect that's going to happen. He was like 27% scouted when we did the deal. And it was just a case of, because he's 18, just get it done, just in case. And that one didn't really work out. But really happy to have brought in Delgado and Shepherd. I think Delgado and Shepherd in with Garza, Yedro and Walsh and Haruna going out, I think is a net improvement to the squad. What I need to work out now is how on earth we play Pedro Luis and Delgado together, because they both want to play in that advanced forward role. They both want to be the super quick striker off the shoulder of the last man. You can see Pedro Luis with his pace of 17, acceleration of 17, 15 composure, 14 finishing, comparing to Delgado, acceleration 19, pace 17, 19 composure, 18 finishing. This guy is going to score some goals. It almost makes me think, if we get that big, massive offer for Pedro Luis now, we've got his replacement here already. They'll play together for a year, and now Pedro Luis can go to Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain next summer with our blessing, because we've got his successor who's probably going to outscore him this season, I would assume. So we take that team, we go face Manchester United, and we try and come back with 3 points. The first time I played these two together, I had Pedro Luis deep behind Delgado. I'm trying them the other way around today, because the first way didn't work. If this doesn't work either, there's the option of making one of them a complete forward, maybe. We could even go advanced forward and poacher, and we're going to have to change the system around potentially to make it work. Unless this works, maybe Delgado's so good, he'll make this work. So it's Hoy and Hal in goal, a back four of Aranua, Mura, Fernandez and Paviot, Navarro at the base of the midfield, Shepherd and Tipple in midfield. All English central midfield, exciting times. Schultz then in behind Delgado and Pedro Luis up front. It's typical, really, of the way I play Football Manager, that we've had a team that's won the Premier League, looking really good, has got the best striker this club has ever had in its history, and we've just gone and broken our transfer record to bring in an almost identical player. That means the system that's worked so well to get us where we are potentially won't work anymore. But if I can make it work, I'm a genius, and we've got two of the best strikers in the world playing for Norwich, which can't be a bad thing, surely. There is Delgado playing it back to Schultz. Let's not forget that we've got Colin Schultz in the form of his life, playing in behind these two strikers. Forget two of the best strikers in the world. We could have the best front three in the world, if not now, within a year or two. This is a Champions League winning front three if we can combine them in the right way. Colin Schultz gets better and better. That's his 4th goal, I think, of this season so far. And with less than a minute on the clock, it's Norwich 1, Manchester United 0, and Delgado with the assist as well. I am going to have a nice time with this front three running rampant, I think. Over the last 2 summers, we fixed the defence last summer. I think we've fixed the attack this summer. So next summer, we just need to get a couple of world-class midfielders, and we're there. We're Champions League winners this year or next. That's my prediction. For the first time, I'm starting to feel confident we might win the Champions League here at Norwich, because we are starting to put together a team that is looking really quite special. And I love it. Look at what we're doing to Manchester United. Yes, we've only had 2 shots on target, but we've had 12 shots. We've got an XG of over 1. We've had 8 corners. And now Aranua, I thought he was taking a corner. It's actually a throw from a very odd position. Tipple with the deep cross. There's Delgado. And that's his first ever goal for the club. He's done a Tammy Abraham. It's a far post header from Delgado to put us 2-0 up. Pedro Luis still hasn't scored this season. And as you can see, he's shattered. He was off on international duty with Brazil before this game. So I think we'll probably take him off at half-time and get either Casolari or Tammy Abraham deep next to Delgado and let Delgado just go and have some fun in the second half. Release him from his shackles, so Casolari can come on and Delgado can be the more attacking of the two strikers. And there were a few comments yesterday and the day before about how I'm judging Casolari too harshly. He's been here a while. He always scores goals. And it was quite rightly pointed out to me, he's only showing as a 3-star player because Pedro Luis was a 4.5-star player. If Pedro Luis didn't exist, Casolari is probably a 4-star player and one of the better players at the club. If you look at other players, we've got the entire defence of 3 stars. Hoyenhal is 3 stars. Tipple, Navarro, Shepherd's only 2.5 star. So for Casolari to be a solid, consistent 3-star player, he's probably not far off being a world-class striker. He plays for Italy now. So we probably need to give him a fair crack of the whip. And he's going to get that. Delgado is now tiring as well, so we can bring on Tammy Abraham, go with Abraham and Casolari up front. We've all of a sudden got loads of strength in depth in our front two again, which is lovely stuff. And then we're going to bring on Griffin Diaz in midfield as well for Shepherd. Move Tipple over to be the more defensive of the two. It's a very left foot heavy central midfield now, but fingers crossed we're going to have enough about us to hold Manchester United off. Michele's had to go off, the former Norwich boy. I bet he wishes he was still with us. He'd have a Premier League winners medal if he'd have signed for us permanently. And now United trying to get a break on with 5 minutes left in the match. For us to concede here, it would be quite upsetting. So nice to see we're the ones with the football. Erenur on the left-hand side finds Casolari, but the Manchester United defender gets him with the tackle to force the corner, and it's going to be an in-swinger from Schultz. Tammy Abraham, of course, is now on the pitch, and he doesn't get anywhere near him. He doesn't find a yellow-shirted player anywhere near where that cross was. Our corner game is not quite what it has been in previous seasons just yet. We'll figure it out. We probably need to shuffle things around a little bit. Now we're not as reliant on Tammy Abraham because he's not on the pitch as often. I don't know what Schultz was doing there. That was a bit of a weird one. But hopefully we get away with it. There's seconds left in this game. Paviot plays it forward to Casolari. Inside to Tipple now, and Schultz is in again, and Schultz has scored again, and what a start to the season the Norwich number 10 has had. He's not going to be upstaged by Pedro Luis and Delgado. Colin Schultz is making a play to be considered the best player at Norwich, and on early season form, I don't know how you can argue. We knew he was good the moment he emerged as a 16-year-old at Schalke, but this season he has made the step up to being a goal-scoring menace. Norwich 3, Manchester United 1. He's kept himself onside beautifully there, and it's a very, very tidy finish. If he's now adding consistent goal scorer to his game, if we can get 20 goals a season out of him, along with that front two that we've got, we are going to be unstoppable. Champions League win this year. I'm calling it now. Let's go thump Milan. So just the one change for the Milan game, Janusek coming back in for Shepherd. We had a look at Shepherd. He seems fine. He can now assume the Asa Walsh role of coming off the bench when he's needed. And we've swapped Pedro Luis and Delgado back around again as I continue to try and figure out how to get them working, or specifically how to get Pedro Luis firing this season. It's not just the arrival of Delgado that's caused this problem, because Delgado wasn't here for the first 3 games of the season, but Pedro Luis having his quietest spell of form that he's ever had in a Norwich shirt, just a 1 assist all season when he got a 7.5. I mean, he's not playing terribly. He's not playing like Pedro Luis. He's not rattling in the goals constantly the way we know he can. So, I don't know, maybe he just needs a little bit of a rest. We'll see how he gets on in this game, playing a little bit deeper and letting Delgado take the main attacking responsibility. And maybe I'll be brave enough to rest him for 3 or 4 games. We've got Tammy Abraham, we've got Casolari, we've got that luxury to be able to give him a little bit of a break if he needs it. But I don't want him to think he's being dropped. He is still our captain. He is still our talisman, our hero. He's just kind of starting to assume the Alvarez role, the guy who's been here for a while, the legend, the superstar, and he's now got the young fancy guy alongside him. And he now knows how he made Julian Alvarez feel. Janusek to Paviot. Cross comes in, looking for Tipple, can't find him, and Navarro is there to collect the scraps. Erenur is played in, and he slides it across, and Delgado's there, and I think it's being disallowed because it only showed as his first goal of the season. We saw him score against Manchester United. Then I don't understand the how many goals of a season bug that FM has. We've seen him score twice in this video, so it's not his first goal of the season, is it? How many times does Erenur do that, by the way? He is a physical beast. Like the majority of this Norwich team, he's not a great crosser. We got some stick, or I got some stick, when Erenur came in for his inability to cross. He doesn't need to be able to cross. He just needs to be able to charge to the end of the pitch the way he does, and then just slide it across the goal line for one of the quick strikers to tap in. That's where his assists come from, and it works a treat. Crossings for losers. Just do that all the time, like he does. But Delgado, second goal in 3 matches, I think that is now, since arriving. And now Janusek's playing it out to Schultz, and now Tipple to Navarro, who shoots from range, and it goes over. I am keeping a close eye on Navarro today because we saw, certainly in the knockout stages of the Champions League last year, I didn't notice it so much in the group stages, but in big games, Navarro had a little bit of a tendency to make a wild mistake, at least one per game. I would consider this quite a big game. So we're looking at Navarro. Delgado's in again. Did you see how quick he was there? I mean, he didn't quite have the finish, and I think he was offside. But between Navarro and Schultz, they've ticky-tackered the ball through to Delgado, who's got there when he had absolutely no right to. And, I mean, legally had no right to. He was offside, so it didn't count. Pedro Luis, nowhere again in this first half. How do I fix the Pedro Luis problem? Do I need to worry? What have we just done there? That's come from our throw. I'm going to need to see a replay, boys and girls, because I don't understand whose fault this is. So Erenur with the throw, looking for Mura, who has a guy stood there with him. It's absolutely Erenur's fault there. What is Mura supposed to do? There's a guy stood in front of him. I am flabbergasted at what I've just seen. Erenur, so good for our goal, so terrible for their goal. And now Tipple is tiring, so we're gonna take him off. We don't have Griffin Diaz on the bench. We should always have Griffin Diaz on the bench. Right, we'll bring on Zamorano and release Janusek a little bit. And that will do for now, just for a little bit of extra midfield energy. You know, you get that with Zamorano. He'll run around a lot. Is that box-to-box midfielder? I'm starting to lean towards it potentially being his best role. Pedro Luis, tired again. Tammy's coming on. And then we're going to bring on Caesar, put Mura out to left back, and let Erenur think about what he's done. I'm going to be disappointed with a draw here. It shows how far we've come as a club. Obviously, we were first seeds in the Champions League this year. As league champions, we've been 4th seeds years previously, which is why we've got a slightly easier group. I know Milan, this is lovely football, by the way. I know Milan and Monaco are big names. I don't know that either of them are teams that we would feel particularly threatened by. This is the first time we've gone into a Champions League group stage feeling pretty confident that we're going to win the group. So I'm going to be pretty disappointed if we come here to Milan and gift them a point that we don't really need to be gifting them. We've got to start having a big club mentality in Europe. We've just shown it's Manchester United how good we are. Now we've got to show that we believe we're this good. Delgado into Paviot to Tammy Abraham. I mean, he's scored plenty of goals in Italy over the years, and he's done it again there. 10 years he spent at Roma, rattling in goals for them, and now he's back one more time as a near 36-year-old to grab one more goal in Italy. Tammy Abraham on 72 minutes to make it 2-1 to Norwich. He has still got it as a super sub. It's his 3rd season here now. I don't think anyone believed when we brought him in on a free transfer that he'd still be scoring Champions League goals for us 3 years later. But Tammy Abraham just keeps going. I'll keep referring back to Romelu Lukaku, who was still Chelsea's starting striker at 38 years old. Tammy Abraham's got plenty of time left in him yet. Hoyenhal to Caesar. And now Janusek, let's not give them another goal. Ball over the top, Delgado's in behind. Look at him go. That boy's rapid. I don't know. Where's that finishing and composure we were talking about? An informed Pedro Luis scores there. He'll always be my first love. And it has ended. Milan 1, Norwich 2. A comfortable, if unspectacular start to this season's Champions League. I mean, really, that describes our start to the season in general. Comfortable, but unspectacular. We're third in the Premier League, level on points with the top. But we've not really done anything special yet. I guess 3 goals plus Manchester United in any other season, that's pretty special. But it's been a very tame start to the season. But everything's going to plan. We're a big club now, boys and girls. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.